Hello and welcome to season 4 of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. As always, I'm your host, Kelby Bachman, and please welcome the next guest on the show, Ryder Downey.
So Ryder is from Indianola, Iowa, where he collected quite the accolades. He was a 4-time place winner, 2-time finalist, and a state champ his senior year in one of the most memorable matches in recent history. Ryder also got it done in the classroom, as he was valedictorian of his high school class that included 273 students in all. Now at UNI, Ryder is putting his talent on display at the collegiate level. He was a Big 12 champ last year and made the round of 12 at the NCAA tournament. And of course, he was first team academic All Big 12. Currently in his redshirt sophomore year, Ryder is rolling into the NCAA tournament in a wide open 157-pound weight class. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy Ryder Downey.
In the heart of West Union, Iowa, lies a hidden gem in Euphoria Coffee. Owned by local residents Nicole and Shane Havenstreit, they source everything they can from local vendors. From hot and iced drinks, to savory breakfast burritos, to baked goods, to botany tea, and even homemade waffles, Euphoria Coffee is a place your entire family can enjoy. You can find more information at drinkeuphoria.coffee2go.com or visit their Facebook page. And we also have a special gift just for you. Next time you stop in, you can get a free baked good with a $20 purchase. Just mention the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Euphoria Coffee. Our purpose is deeper than coffee.
So what's up? How you been?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Good. Yeah. Just getting down to weight today, so I might be a little bit short with you.
That's okay. Is it a big cut for you?
It's a cut. It's not. I do it decently, so it's not terrible on me.
Yeah. Is it have you cut much weight in the past? Like, is it something that you've done pretty much every year, or?
No, I mean, I'm getting big. I'm not gonna go 57 again next year, I don't think, so
Yeah.
I'll move up.
Yeah.
I don't like cutting weight very much, so
Yeah. I don't blame you. I don't think anyone does. But yeah, you heard it here first. Ryder Downey, 165, or are you gonna go 174? Just gonna get big.
well, I don't know. Maybe 57, maybe 65, maybe 74.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's just weird how or it's just different with guys. I mean, sometimes you get the growth spurt in high school, and sometimes it's people get it in college too. It's just it's interesting,
Yeah.
You think you're done and you're not done growing. So, but I watched a little bit, to prep for this. It actually came up on Twitter. I don't know how active on social media you are, but your match with Robert Avila came up recently.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't even know what to think about that. Like, what do you think when you watch it or see it post every now and again? It was it's a classic. It's one of those things that's going to live in Iowa history forever. When it pops up, do you watch it? Do you care much about it, or is it just something that happened and you're happy and proud of it, but it's in the past?
Probably a little bit of both. I watched the video that just got posted because it was on Instagram, and Flow Wrestling tagged me or whatever, so I get all the notifications when people comment. So I like to look through the comments, like people saying either I was pinned or I don't know. There's just a very wide variety of comments. But yeah, it was it was fun, but it was also it was a good stepping stone on getting recruited to UNI and then making jumps in wrestling and in life. So
Do you get many comments about your hair?
mainly from my teammates.
But what was the deal with that? Was it just a phase you were going through that you just were like,
Yes.
I'm gonna grow out my hair?
It was long. Yours is
Yeah.
long. Yours is
Yes.
long. You could probably do the same thing.
Yeah, I just didn't know, because you've cut it since then. It's a little bit shorter than it was. I didn't know Because I think it even started, it seemed like you even started out with a little bit of a bun in that match, but maybe it was just pushed back through your headgear. But
Just push through my headgear. I had middle part for a couple of years, so
yeah,
but
yeah,
I don't know. I'll just do whatever with my hair. I like trying different things out.
yeah. And I think the other thing with the match that is so captivating is just the swings and the range of emotions. I mean, yeah, I mean, you were fighting on your back there in the first period, and yeah, you were almost pinned. Like when you're in that moment, do you recall like, whew, I almost got pinned. I'm down 5-0. Like, did any of that? I mean, it's a lot to take in that moment, but did you think anything like that in that moment? Do you remember?
I just remember being really tired. Fighting off your back makes you really tired, so
Yes.
I
Yeah.
was I was tired and he had like I was like a little bit cut off circulation and I was like, wow, I need to get my head on. And it took
Hmm.
about a full period, this full second period it took me to feel decent again. So
Yeah. Um, and then the third period rolls around. I mean, it was still 5-0 with like 45 seconds left. Did you panic at all, or did you start to feel like a sense of urgency before any of that happened, the final 45 seconds? Like, I mean, you're down five and you're on top. I mean, that's almost a death sentence there, you know?
uh, no, it's just it's really just it's wrestling. If you're gonna score, you're gonna score. You can't just I don't know. He he wanted to finish the match on bottom and I guess it's if you got a guy on top of you that's decent, he's probably gonna turn you if you're not trying to actively get out or at least actively put yourself in a decent position. And he was just trying to sit there and that's really what opened it up, I believe.
Yeah, actually, that's an interesting take because that's what the commentator said. I'm not sure if it was Ironside or somebody, but that's what they were saying was he was just sitting there on bottom and
Yeah.
just opened things up for you. I mean, when you won, the other thing I noticed was you had some emotion, but there wasn't like a lot. There wasn't a ton. Are you just kind of a lower emotional guy, or you just because I bet you expected to win, so I mean, it wasn't a shock to you that you won, you know?
Um, I mean, I don't freak out about a whole lot of things. My emotions they don't range a ton. Like I don't have super highs and super lows, but a couple things it's just a wrestling match and also yeah, you go in expecting to win. And also I was probably just too tired to do anything.
True, true. Um, and there was a lot of hype leading up to that match, I'm sure. I mean, he was going, Avila was going for four. Was there a lot of talk about that, or were you just focused on doing your job and just taking it one match at a time and let the outcome be what it is?
Yeah. Yeah, that but I was the 5 seed, so I wasn't even technically supposed to be there. So
Hmm.
I had to win a couple matches that I wasn't supposed to get in that spot. So I guess they weren't really expecting a lot of people weren't really expecting me to be in the finals. And I think a lot of people weren't really expecting him to be in the finals because he had a little bit tougher of a year. I think he struggled with his weight a little bit early on, so he didn't
Yeah,
start wrestling until like later in the season.
yeah,
But
yeah,
he got like a 10-second pin in the semis. I don't know if you saw that. He just foot
yep,
sweeped Dustin Bowen right to his back and
yeah. I mean, and here we go with you. What makes you, so tough on top? I guess let me start with when did you start to develop being tough on top? Do you
freshman
remember?
sophomore year.
Yeah,
Because I wasn't very good on my feet, so I had to find something to be good at.
yeah. And what makes you then so tough on top? Like, what was your first thing that you developed to make you tough on top?
Just roll through tilt. That's really the
Yeah,
only thing I have. So
yeah. I mean, you've carried it in to college now, where it's like, man, when people they think twice before going on bottom when
yeah,
they wrestle you, because you've just become just so tough. Is what have you developed over the years that just makes people afraid?
It's just, I mean, I'll turn people and then people see that and they're like, there's no point going down.
Even when you don't turn people, like people just can't get away. I mean, it's like an art almost, you know? Do you see it that way at times?
I mean, I don't know. Some people do get away, and I've sometimes I put myself in a position where I get reversed. So I don't. It's not always super great, but
Yeah.
we're still working on it. And there's guys who are better at it. Like you come in the room and Drew Foster gets on top of you, you're not getting away. So that's what we're working for.
Yeah. When did you, well, let's like reverse or rewind it here a little bit, and when did you start wrestling? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's I mean it's always been a thing. I'd say competitions probably started like fourth or fifth grade, but I mean you'd always just like practice and go to practices before that.
Yeah. Why was it always a thing? Like,
My
did your
dad
fan?
my dad was really good at wrestling. He was better than me in high school by quite a bit.
Oh, really?
He was two-time state champ. He was ranked I think pretty high in the nation, but he just college wasn't for him, so he didn't really do that route.
Yeah. Did you talk to him much about that before you decided to wrestle in college? Like, did he talk to you about his experience and his college and maybe why it didn't work out for him to talk to you about it at all?
Um, Not really like that. I've always been a student. I like to learn a lot. So college is for me. It wasn't for him because that's not the kind of things that he liked to do. So
Yeah. Yeah, you were valedictorian of your class, weren't you, in
hmm
Indianola?
hmm
I mean, I will ask, are studies easy for you, or have you had to put in the effort to get your grades?
uh I mean it's everyone's got to put in effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like I don't know. I'd say it's pretty normal. You put in a good amount of effort and then usually the grades will show that.
Yeah. So it's a little, sounds like it's a combination of both. Like you are smart, but obviously you don't just become a valedictorian because you're smart. You obviously got to
Yeah,
put in some
yeah.
effort. So that'd be a pretty big accomplishment as well to be valedictorian. Is that something that was that a goal you set out to achieve, or was it just something that as you kept going, you kept getting A's and you just eventually were like, whoa, I'm gonna be valedictorian?
I don't know. It's just kind of what we did is in our house is just you just get A's. That was just always the standard. And I don't always follow through with that in college now. I've gotten probably three B's in college, so I'm no longer valedictorian. But I mean I just took the classes that I wanted to take in high school, and a lot of them were like AP classes, which gets you a higher grade point. So,
Hmm.
but it was just what we did as a family was is get A's. Like my brother, same thing. My sister, the same thing.
Hmm. So when you got your first B, in college, were you pretty devastated? Did you tell anybody?
Um, I was devastated long before I ended up receiving the grade.
Yeah.
It took me about 2 weeks into the class to realize I was not going to get an A, and neither was anyone in the class. So
Really? What class was it?
it's descriptive. There's like a couple of them, but descriptive inorganic chemistry. It was a very tough class for.
My gosh. That just sounds tough.
Yeah, I
You-
mean, it's the professor makes it doesn't make it any easier for sure.
Yeah.
He's well
What is
known around the
Oh, really? He's well known as that
yeah, is
professor,
that
huh?
type of guy. Yeah.
What's your major?
Biochemistry and chemistry. Or sorry, biochemistry and biology.
Oh my gosh. How is that trying to balance? Because I mean, there are some majors that are, a little easier than others.
Some are
Yeah.
basically like nothing.
Right. And so what is that being a biochemistry and a biology major and also trying to wrestle? Like that has to be difficult, man.
I mean, you'd think so, but some people like to exaggerate how much time they're studying, and you just do things. You make sure you prioritize your time, and then you'll be fine. Like I still get pretty decent grades.
Hmm.
Not I'm still not straight A's, but I'm A minus B plus in that range. So it's you spend your time in a decent way, and you'll get a decent grade. You don't need to put 8 hours, 10 hours of studying a day. It's a couple hours here and there.
Did you have to change up the way you study? Because I feel like I understand what you're saying, but there's like people who will put in a lot of time, but
Hmm.
not quite see the result because they're just not quite learning the way they should. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You gotta kind of figure out what works for you, and
Right.
different things work for different people. But I tend to grasp I feel like I grasp things decently well, but if you don't, just watch a YouTube video on it, and dude, everything's on YouTube. It's crazy. Like even science stuff, it's all on YouTube. So that's such a good resource to have.
Yeah. Well, what YouTube videos do you watch? Because I mean, you have to watch them, I assume, right? Because that major sounds just tough.
Well, it's a lot of recently for me is biochem is one of my is the upper level class that I'm in right now.
Hmm.
Biochem 2. So like metabolic pathways or cycles and stuff like that. If you don't completely understand it when the professor is going through it, you can go through the notes and you can read, but nothing works as well as when someone's explaining to you. And these videos, you just look it up and they have like millions of views, and these people can just explain it so well that I don't know. It makes it a lot easier to learn.
Yeah. That's got to be a nice resource for
Mhm.
you, you know. Um, but anyway, back to a little bit of your wrestling story. So, when did you actually start wrestling? Was it when you were young at like 4 or 5 years old?
Yeah, kindergarten probably.
Yeah. And then when did you start actually going to some tournaments? You said about fourth or fifth graders when you were actively really competing?
I mean, I don't know if I'd call it really competing, but go to like
Yeah.
the local tournament here, or like a tournament like 20 minutes away or 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
And
And
then, sorry, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
Just districts might have been the first time was like fifth grade.
Okay.
So like what you're saying, but AAU districts instead of high school districts.
Hmm. Did you grow up in Iowa in the Indianola area?
Hmm.
Okay. Is that where you were born?
I mean, born in Des Moines, but
Oh,
we
okay.
we always lived in Indianola.
Okay. So you grew up in Indianola, started wrestling. What club did you go to?
Uh, I didn't go to any club until high school, so Indianola Mat Tribe, and then in high school I went to Basa.
Oh, Ubasa.
Yeah.
Okay. God, he's had some tough kids all over. Like back in the day, I say back in the day. Um, I mean, he ran like a club at Carver, and
Hmm.
that was the place to go, you know. So it's no surprise that he's still out there reaching kids. But
Yeah.
did you have some success like in the middle school era or in that early fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade?
No, I didn't. I didn't really have hardly any. Well, I wanted to be an like every other kid. I wanted to be an NFL player until I realized I was 105 pounds in high school, and then I was like, okay, I guess I'm not going to be an NFL player. Um, but I didn't ever place at state or anything like that. I qualified AAU state a couple times, but I never even got close to placing. Um, obviously it would make me really upset because I still liked wrestling, but
Mhm.
I also liked football, and I liked soccer, and I liked track, and I liked all the other things that I did, so I wasn't spending a ton of time at it.
Really? Okay. And so, okay, real quick, who did you want to play for in the NFL? Because we all wanted to play on the NFL, but we also wanted to play for a specific team.
Yep, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Come on. Oh,
Okay, okay. Um, and so so you probably did like middle school football, and you must have done the sports circuit, as I guess I refer to it as. You did all the sports,
hmm.
and you seem to enjoy all of them.
I did, yeah, I did a lot.
Did that carry over into high school where you did most of them, or no?
No, I decided I wanted to be good at wrestling because I mean, I was when I was small, and that's what I wanted to do was be good at wrestling. And it was probably eighth grade that I decided that. Yeah, I did cross country and wrestling my first 2 years, and then it was just wrestling from there.
And okay, so you sold out on wrestling, saying that's the sport, but you weren't quite having, were you having success in the other sports by this time?
I mean, I don't know what you call success, but like
Mm,
I would do decently well. Like
yeah.
I'm not gonna hype my middle school self up, but um we had some like distance records in track, or like I was on just the football team, and I would play as much as anyone else.
Hmm.
But it's just wrestling's kind of what I wasn't great at them, but it was
Hmm.
that I enjoyed them and they were fun.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess I was like comparatively speaking, if you were having, especially when you're younger, if you have success at a certain sport, sometimes that kind of takes over as your favorite sport because obviously you're having success and that feels good. So I was just wondering if like, you weren't quite thriving in wrestling, if there were other sports that you were maybe thriving at, to see like why you chose the wrestling route when you weren't as successful in wrestling as
Mhm.
you were at other sports, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't, I mean, I was athletic. I could do all of them and I was decent at all of them. I wasn't great at any of them.
Yeah. Um, so with your record of success at wrestling, you didn't quite place. You said you didn't even come close. But right out of the chute, you got seventh at state at 106 in 3A. I mean, what was that like? Did that freshman year shock you at all, or was it just eye-opening that you had potential?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you take it step by step, and I think I can remember myself like the first time I got ranked top 10, and
Mhm.
which is it's just such a funny thing to look back at. Being ranked in 3A top 10 for 106 is just like I just thought it was such a big deal.
Yeah,
And
of
and
course.
like no way. Look, that's me, I'm ranked. But then like even a year later, if you're not in the top 10, like what are you doing? You're not very good or whatever it is. But
Mhm.
I remember that feeling. And I mean it was a good feeling, but I grew a lot because I put a lot more time in.
Okay, so is that when you decided that wrestling was going to be your thing? Yes, you said you did cross country, but like, did you really train between your eighth grade and freshman year? Like that's when you put a lot of time in for wrestling?
That's when I started going to Pablo's, and I would get those good partners. And
Who were some of the partners?
oh, let's see. So Thurman Christensen. Um, I would sometimes wrestle Edwards twins, James and Thomas Edwards from Johnston, Rainer Stahlbaum from Johnston. Uh, there's quite a few Waukee kids there.
Hmm.
Cole Nelson from Perry. Like it was just other pretty kids who were pretty decent. So
Yeah,
I had quite a bit of partners there.
yeah. And so actually your growth really hit then even the next year. So you go to state as a sophomore and you make the finals. Was that another wow moment for you that like you're seeing results from all the work you're putting in?
Yeah. Well, by that time I wanted to win it. I thought I was good enough to win it. And
Hmm.
it's funny. I wrestled Trevor in the semis, and I live with him now. But we wrestled 10 times in my freshman and sophomore year, and it was just
Mhm.
like a heated rivalry, and we were enemies the whole time, but now we live together and we're really good friends, so
Yeah, do you still talk excuse me, do you still talk about that
we've
match a
brought it
little?
up. I got the best of him. I got the best of it
Yeah.
the last time, but that makes my all-time record 1-10 or something like that.
Oh, seriously. So that was the only time you beat him?
Yeah. Oh, he beat me bad too before that.
Really?
hmm So that was the one, and yeah.
So what made that the one, I mean, were you could I guess let me start by saying, at that age, you get beat so many times by the same kid, it can almost become a mental hurdle where you're like, I can't beat this kid. I mean, it must not have, was that not the same way for you where you just, hey, I'm just going to let it fly or what?
Uh, no, I feel like, or at least from my perspective, it's the opposite of that. Like if you continue to wrestle the same guy, you should be like, okay, I know what he's gonna do here. I've felt this 100 times. He's not gonna get it this time. I keep closing the gap. I'm just gonna close the gap. I'm gonna make it. I get beat by 10 points, and I'm get beat by 7, then 5, then 2, then I'm gonna get closer and closer and closer, and then now I'm going to win, and then widen the gap. And that was kind
Mm.
of always my mindset. It took a lot of matches to do that, but uh, that's kind of how it's been, like a almost like a progress mindset rather than
Mhm.
an outcome mindset.
Yeah. Wow. Very well said. Very well said because I think we can get a little focused on the outcome, based on what happens and oh well, I still lost. But did you is that how it went for you where you closed the gap every time you wrestled him?
Sophomore year, yeah. The freshman year ones, he would beat me pretty bad every time, but it got a little bit closer sophomore year, and then it was just like I tilted him in the semis, and it was kind of like a little bit lucky because not lucky, but he was a lot better than me on our feet, so
Hmm.
I just had to get one on top.
Yeah.
But I don't
Dang.
I don't want to talk too much about it because it kind of feels awkward because we're really good friends now,
No, yeah, hey, that's, I get it.
and then I got my butt whooped in the finals, and he probably would have won in the finals, so.
Really?
Yeah, I think he would have for sure.
Was that pretty devastating then that, when because you said you felt like you were good enough to win it that year and then you come up short. I mean, that's especially like I said at that age in high school when you're expecting and it can be just crushing.
I shed some tears, but I mean the the level of maturity that I was at was a lot of crying because you lose or whatever it is. But I mean to be honest, looking back, I wasn't good enough to be in that place to where I should have been a state champ. Like I wasn't technically good enough where I was there. I was just mentally I thought I was so good, and that's what it is a lot with kids. You can be not that great at wrestling, but if you have that mental edge of just I'm I'm the best, then it helps so much, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, it's just because of everything you just said. I mean, gosh, I thought I was going to win. I thought I was good enough to win. Looking back, I wasn't, but like in that moment, you feel like you are good enough. So it's kind of, your mind is a little bit farther ahead than your physical traits. But once those two match up, that's when you can get really dangerous.
Hmm.
Um, did you cut a lot of weight that year because you ended up going 132 the next year,
Yeah,
which is quite a jump.
I had a big growth spurt
Oh, there we
like
go. Okay.
mid-season, and that's why I don't like to cut weight now is because that year is, and I did not enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the cutting weight aspect, so the next couple years I didn't cut near as much weight, and then freshman and last year of college I didn't really cut weight, but I didn't. I mean, they wanted me to go 57 again this year, but that's just. I mean, I'm cutting weight this time, and then hopefully I'll be just about done with it.
Yeah. Um, yeah, the high school can be a tricky situation too sometimes for boys where I've heard that story a lot where they go, gosh, I started to grow mid-season. And so
Hmm.
like at first making 113 might have been easy, but as the season goes on, now all of a sudden you're cutting from 125, from 130, and you're like, what the heck am I doing? And it's just you're just growing. It's the way
Exactly, and it got tough. It got real
yeah.
tough, but it wasn't just me. Like Trevor said, he went through the same stuff. Like that was his biggest year was 113. That's the most he's ever weighed in his whole life was 113. Or just something like that. Maybe not the most ever, but like that's the most he's cut.
Mhm.
And it was just seemed like the year that all of us were really struggling to make weight.
Yeah. Did you know him at all before college? Like did you
Just that we wrestled and we didn't
okay.
really like each other that much.
Yeah. Um, was so going into your junior year after placing second, you probably had pretty high expectations for yourself because, you were right there. Maybe the gap was a little wider than you wanted it to be when you lost in the finals, but you're still competing with guys who are winning state titles, and you're right there with the best of them. Were you pretty confident going into your junior year too then?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, my skills were not. I mean, like obviously, I'd put a lot of time into working on my skills, but there were still levels to be jumped. And going into junior year, your confidence is at another level because your skills got better. But in reality, like my skills aren't where they should be, but they were still better. So my confidence was there. My confidence has always been there.
Yeah, that's good. So that's sorry. Your confidence has always been there. Are you just a confident person in general? Have you just that's been something that almost you were essentially born with?
Yeah, and sometimes it's not always great, but sometimes it's like a false confidence. A lot of times actually, there's sometimes I've turned in a test and been like, "Oh, I killed it," and then I get back like a 75 or an 80. So it's sometimes it's not always the right confidence, but
Mhm. I'll tell you what, that is, I don't want to say that's a worse feeling, but that is a close second, when you feel like you've put in a lot of time and effort into going into a test and then you get back a poor grade or a grade you is worse. Oh, that is a gutting feeling.
yeah.
Ugh, I don't miss those days. But so then was it pretty difficult then when you ended season fifth?
Uh, no, I mean I got fourth, but
Oh, fourth, sorry.
no, you're fine. There was good competition at my weight class. Um, and like I don't know, I still thought I was getting better. It was just there was more levels to be jumped. Um, like I didn't get my actually I did get my butt whooped for third bad. But that's just because I don't know, he beat me bad for third. But I wrestled like my weight class was Drake, Ayala, and Ryder Block. Those that got first and second, and
Mm.
I thought I was better than Block, is who I wrestled in the semis, but he beat me and kind of handled me honestly. But I was still confident. And then um, ending on a loss sucks, obviously, but
Yeah.
the mindset's always been it really has been a progress mindset uh forever. So I just wanted to get better, to continue to get better, and that's what I wanted to do. So
Who instilled that progress mindset? Because I think that is a great mindset to have. Like the whole time we've been talking, I've been trying to ask you and prod a little bit about like, God, how'd you feel about losing? Because there were some tough losses in there, but every time you've come back with progress and more progress and just getting better. So where did that come from? Is that like something your coaches, or have you just taught yourself that, or did you read it in a book?
I'm not 100% sure. My parents definitely probably played a big role in it.
Hmm.
Just but also losing so much in youth probably honestly helps a lot because you never when you take all those losses, you kind of understand, like you understand what it's like to lose, and you still see progress. Because even you might lose to a kid by 10 as a sixth grader, and then you lose to him by 4 as eighth grader or as a seventh grader, and you're like, oh, I still got a little bit better. I'm still gaining an edge on him, or at least if it's a mental edge if it's not anything else. But
Hmm.
my parents, my coaches, I had really good coaches. I was so blessed to be where I was because I had such a good support staff, and the coaches were really good, and my brother like was in a really good spot, and my parents were phenomenal, and my dad's always been around the wrestling team and that kind of stuff. So
Was he pretty hands off, or was he at first hands on to get you going, and then once you kind of got to a certain level, he sort of ushered you to somebody else? Or how was that
mm,
relationship?
yeah, he was in high school very hands off.
Mm.
Um, Middle school, like he wanted to help, but he was still like he wasn't like pushing me to do anything more than I wanted to do. he wanted to make sure whatever I was doing, I was going to be putting good time into it. So during football season, he's going to making sure I did like putting my best effort into football. And then wrestling season, my best effort into wrestling, and then track season, my best effort into track. So we'd go out and do like extra workouts for football, and like we'd run with a ball up a hill, and just have people like smack at our arms, and
And what would happen if you fumbled?
I don't know, just do it again. I don't really remember. I do remember doing some of those workouts and being like whatever season it was, we were gonna do our best at it. So and then he kind of when we got to high school, it was just like it's on you. Like you're going to participate in sports because he knows that's the best thing. The best people you can surround yourself with are people that are in sports, it seems like. So
Yeah.
he's like, you're going to play sports, so make it it's gonna be your choice on what you play and what you do and how much time you put into it, but you're gonna do it and you're gonna commit hard to it and you're gonna commit you're going to spend your time doing good things instead of like it's so easy to fall off the
Mhm.
path, especially in high school. You see it so much. Like people they get involved in the wrong group and then it's just lives are changed. So
Yeah, for sure. And especially now in college too, where now you're off on your own,
mhm,
where you have to hold yourself accountable more so. Like you have some teammates that'll try to hold yourself accountable, but when you go home to your apartment or wherever, and you're by yourself, and you could get pulled in different directions, and you have to make the decision on what
mhm.
you want to do. So yeah, when you first started wrestling, I mean, was he one of those that really was pushing you to wrestle, or did you sort of naturally find it on your own? I'm curious.
Are you talking about like young when I was young?
Yeah, yeah, when you first started, because
It's
obviously
definitely
dads
it
can
had to
get
have been
kind of
him.
like, yeah.
It had to have been him, but he also put us in all the sports.
Mhm. Yeah. So
So
there wasn't like an extra emphasis on wrestling. Like sometimes dads who have been around the sport and wrestled, they can get like super
yeah,
pumped, like, "Ah, we're
no,
going wrestling."
he was awesome in the way that he really didn't like control like want to be in control. He didn't try to live through me. Um
Mhm.
which is what you like what you're talking about with some dads are like, no, you're gonna be a wrestler and you're gonna be the best wrestler in the world. We're gonna go to this tournament and all these clubs and you're gonna cut weight in sixth grade. So
Yeah.
it was always he always did what I felt like was a really good job. And
Yeah.
it 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 kept our relationship really good. So yeah, I'm glad and blessed to have really, really good parents.
Was your mom involved in wrestling a lot too? Did she know much about it, or was your dad the wrestler and your mom like, they got together and they got married, and when you guys came around is when she started to realize what wrestling was?
Yeah. That second option
Yeah.
more. She didn't know a whole lot at first, but she's been to everything. They go to everything. They still do. It's awesome. So
Yeah. Yeah. That is such a, my mom was the same way. My dad, for the most part, too, he may have missed a couple, like maybe, but one of them was there for sure at everything. And it was just we kind of take that for granted when we were kind of younger,
yeah, we
you
do.
know. But like when you look back, you're pretty like, yeah, she was there forever. And it does feel good. Can you hear her? Is she a yeller? No?
Um, I don't think so. But she gets into it, but
Yeah.
she's not super loud or anything. Uh, but you don't. I mean, you've experienced it. When you're on the mat, you really don't hear a whole lot at all.
Right. Yeah. It's funny because like if you're not on the mat, but you're like mat side, man, like it's so weird how you can hear everything, but for some reason when you get in when you get in the circle, I don't know, the headgear, you just don't hear very
Yeah,
well. Even no matter how much the coach is yelling, like
yeah.
it's just turns instinctual at that
It
point.
it probably upset you a lot this year as a high school coach.
Ah, yes. Yes, to answer that question, yes. When did you start thinking about wrestling at the next level? Because like we got to your junior year at this point, your seventh, second, and fourth. Were you thinking like were you getting recruited at that point to colleges that you could see yourself competing at? Because you hadn't won it yet, so I don't know if that opened more doors for you by winning a state title.
Uh, yeah, that's a pretty good question actually. The way you worded it was really good. I did at that point want to wrestle in college, I think. But there was not any places that had reached out to me that I did want to go to. Again, that false confidence. I was
Mhm.
I was going to be like there was no other place I was going that I thought I should be at than a D1 wrestler.
Mhm.
Um, and I hadn't put in the results to really be at that spot yet, but I know here and I know here that that's where I could be the best in the country. So it's just I don't know, it's that part of that false confidence that
Mhm.
is it really isn't always bad. So it's sometimes real good.
Yeah, where that you can compete with the best. And you had, it's not like you'd stepped out there and just gotten the brakes beat off you every time you wrestled someone tough. So like, I feel like there may have been a sliver of false confidence, but you had also seen yourself compete with the best and handle your own against the best. Like there were some big victories along the way that I'm sure fed in that confidence. I don't think it was all completely false confidence.
Yeah, just some of it.
Yeah. So then when you did the senior year, first off, you cap it with a state title. And in such a Ryder Downey way of just like the way you won it was being tough on top, which is that's where you're really good at. So just winning it in that way was pretty cool in and of itself. But did that start to open the door then to going to places that you could see yourself going and that you had imagined going the whole time?
Yeah. I mean, it was part of m- my mom helped me a lot on just like emailing coaches because I wasn't getting a ton of looks. Um, so I ended up have before the state title, I ended up going on visits to like Campbell. And I was trying to like email the Northern Colorado coach because those were just like pretty places that I could see myself going
Yes.
to college. Like
Yes.
you got North Carolina and Northern Colorado where you either got mountains or you got mountains kind of, but it's like really pretty.
hmm
Um, but so I went on visits to like those type of places, not Northern Colorado. I went to visit on Campbell, but um, after the state title, I got a lot more. I got a lot more eyes on me.
That had to be pretty validating then as well. Like, did you feel a sense of relief, or did you feel like that false confidence turned into actual confidence that like I finally got the result to show and prove that I feel I am doing and putting in the work. You know what I'm trying to say? Like you're putting in the work and you feel like the result should be X. And now you've finally shown that the result is X. So,
Uh, well, the thing about false confidence is you don't know it's a false confidence. You just think it's the real confidence. So you're just like, yeah, this is what I do.
mhm.
Um, that's the great thing about it is it's not false at the time that it's. I mean, I know I still have it. Um, even a little bit, I still have it, but it's also because I know my skills are there, a lot more than they've ever been. So, I still have it, and I'm going to look back in 5 years and be like, wow, I was way more confident than I should have been. But that's just how it is, I guess.
It's kind of crazy that even right now you think like there's a false sense of confidence, but like when we look at your weight class and if we talk to people around you, coaches, I bet you if we talk to your teammates and your coaches and ask them what could they expect from Ryder Downey this year or even right now, I bet they would say they see a path where you could be a national champ, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, for sure.
So is that false confidence? If other people see it too, you
Well,
know?
I don't. The thing is, I don't think I'm just like the false confidence is that I don't think that I just should win a national title. I feel like I'm at the point where my if I could use some of the skills that I have in matches and do some of the things that I could do in practice and translate it the way I want to, I would I could like I should be in a Hodge, like obviously I can't anymore, but I think I should be majoring or more than majoring every single person that I wrestle because I feel like that's where my skills are at.
Hmm.
And that's the false confidence part. That it to me it's not false because I think my skills are there.
Hmm.
It's just I've really got to be able to translate them from here to here.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean and it can be tough. Like it just depends, like even on the day, how you're feeling on that exact day, that exact time, how the other person's feeling. Like it's just so difficult because basically what you're saying is you have to be perfect every time out. You have to wrestle almost the perfect match every time because if Ryder Downey wrestles the perfect match, nobody can beat him, and he will probably major you because that's how good he can be. But that's such a high bar, you know?
Yeah, well that's what leaves for improvement because you set that bar high and then when you don't achieve it or if things don't go the way that you would like them to, then that's what you're working for the next match or for the next month or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Uh,
true.
I don't know. It's just that growth mindset. It's you still you want to the way you want to do things. You'll end up majoring or teching people because that's how it should be. But then you don't get to that level, so you work on those skills, and then you keep developing those skills, and it should continue to help you to grow.
Yeah.
Because it's really not about winning and losing
Hmm.
as much as it's about translating things from here to here. Or growing in these areas. Because if you grow in those areas, then you'll be able to you'll just win because your areas of skills are so good.
Yes. Yeah. If you're fostering the areas that especially when you need growth in certain areas, if you start to foster those and if you water the seed, so
Hmm.
to speak, you know, then like you said, the outcome is going to be better or more likely in your favor because you are growing in the areas where you are quote unquote deficient, I guess, if you want to use that word.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Um, but when did you decide on UNI? Because it's funny that you say like you went to Campbell, which is nice. The area's pretty, has some mountains in northern
Eh,
Colorado. The area's nice. It's pretty, it has some mountains, and we're at UNI.
yeah,
Where the area's still nice,
not quite as
like don't get
pretty.
me wrong.
Not quite as pretty up here. Uh, the thing is, it's just the maybe it's not pretty outside, but then you get into the wrestling room and around the guys, it's by far the greatest thing you've ever been around. And the culture is just so insane as like tight-knit family. Really that growth perspective that I've always that like it been instilled in me is been instilled in everyone else in this program. And it's just like they're just welcoming and wants you to grow here and wants you to continue to get better here.
Yeah. And did you know this is the major you wanted to be in before you decided on what college to go to?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. And I assume you and do they have a pretty decent, well, I mean, I didn't know
You
how
can
much of a role that played into it.
No, you can do well wherever you're at. I think that you can have success in school wherever you're at. It doesn't matter because biochem your undergrad doesn't really matter because you or for me, I want to go to medical school.
Okay.
So you just and it ends up being medical school what matters a little bit more, but still doesn't matter a lot because if you're graduate medical school, you'll still have your MD and that'll show for a lot of things.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to go to the medical field, any particular area right now?
Yeah. I've
Mhm.
been I don't know. I've been shadowing. I shadow a couple doctors, and one's a surgeon and one's a family practice physician. So I see the different, like the complete different sides of it, between like surgeon and physician, and I really like relationship building with patients. And I think that's a huge thing, is just trying to build a healthy relationship where these people don't need to go to the doctor as much. And they also feel safe going to the doctor, but they don't need to go because they handle the things that they need to outside, and that'll lead to like a healthier, just a healthier individual. Sorry, this isn't even close to wrestling, but
That's okay.
why I want to be a doctor is I really want to help people, and I feel like that's what I've been called to do by faith, because um like uh, some people have different gifts, and one of mine is that I'm able to do pretty well in school, and I really enjoy helping people, and I feel like being a doctor is one of the ways that people can be helped a lot.
Yeah, and I think what you said earlier, and don't worry that this isn't about wrestling. This is more than just a
Yeah,
wrestling
sorry, that was just
podcast.
I got off.
No, you're good. I like to talk about this stuff because at the end of the day, you are more than just a wrestler. You're a person with other interests and you have other goals than wrestling. So I like to incorporate that into the podcast. But I think one thing that you said that I really like and take to is that you want your patients to trust you. You know, I think that can be difficult um, for some people is to trust. You know, they can get burned by one doctor and then that's it, you know, or they just don't trust doctors in general. So I think that's kind of an underrated part of being a doctor is having that trust with your patients.
Yeah, well, I'm still a long way away from being a doctor. I've still have yet to take my MCAT this summer, so I've got some applying to do, and
Mhm.
I got a lot of ways to go and a lot of things to figure out. But
Yeah. Um, there was a guy that I was listening to. I listened to another podcast. It's a wrestling one called Wrestling Changed My Life, and they had this doctor on there. His name's Dr. Eric Tannenbaum. He was a wrestler from Michigan, and he said taking the MCATs was very strenuous, and it was like a different like what he did with wrestling applied to helping him take the MCATs because he had to study and it was like an individual thing where he had to do it himself and he had to it's a mental grind and so like he correlated it a little bit between the two, you know. Um so I don't know, have you even started to look at studying for it a little bit or
yeah, I've been studying a little bit. I'm trying not to go too much. Well, I mean, I can't. I don't have a ton of time to do too much, but
Mhm.
I've got my date set, and I do a little bit. Like I try to do about an hour a day, which right now it'll get a little bit less during some days when I have like when I'm studying for exams or I have big projects that I need to do. But I've started a little bit on some of the stuff that I really need to catch back up on that I
Mhm.
haven't done for a while. But it's adding another layer of things to do, but at the end of the day, it's just learning, and it's something that I want to do. So it's really not it's not something that's horrible for me.
Yeah. You know, what do you do to maybe take a step back to relax yourself, to just take a mental break? You're doing a lot, you know, you're wrestling, and that's really mentally straining. You're a biochem and biology major. You're studying for the I mean the MCATs. You have a lot of strain and mental strain and just tough times right now. You know, what do you do to just take a break, to refuel yourself?
Yeah, it's so much on, and you've probably felt this in a bunch of different ways, but it's so much on how you look at things. Um, truly, I'm enjoying everything that I'm doing. So as much as it might be a strain, it doesn't feel as much like a strain. But when I have when I every day I make time for to read Bible, and I we get with I've got a group, me, my brother, Caleb Runyon, Jared Summa, we meet quite a bit, like a couple times a week, almost every day. And we'd read and discuss and talk about stuff, and then we have a Bible study as a team that we go to by Nate Ross, and he does such a good job of getting as many guys as he can there, and then really preaching the truth instead of watered down. Bible, and then we've got church on Sundays, and it's just that's the other part of my life that um that's not the other part, but the biggest part, and
Right.
and that trickles into everything. So that's if that's a layer, that's the top layer, and that'll trickle down into everything else is faith and what God and Jesus have done for us. So
Yeah, so that's where so a couple of takeaways from that. One is what you're doing now doesn't seem as strenuous because you enjoy doing it, which is awesome. I feel like that is very hard to come by at times is finding things in your life that you really enjoy and doing them, and so that's awesome. But two is that that's not the most important thing. I think when sometimes you make things above others like that, like your faith,
mhm,
that's when you really start to run down. That's when the stress really builds up, and that's when you just crack a little bit, you break a little bit, So that makes sense what you just said of how you keep yourself cool, calm, and collected and in check, even though you're rattling off all these things that are very strenuous to others or what sound like it, but the way you deal with it seems to be perfect for you
mhm.
and
And
something
it's
others
just
can learn from. Something others can learn from. Sorry.
yeah, I mean, because you have all the answers in the Bible, and it's really if it's stress or anxiety or whatever it is, there's answers for anything that is going on in your life, and I don't know, it's just it's speaking life is what the Bible does. So I don't know, it means so much to me.
Hmm.
It means truly more than anything in my life.
Yeah, because when you're making other things your life, then what I've learned is that piece, that faith piece, starts to become
Hmm.
less. It starts to become a smaller piece, and then the other pieces that maybe quote unquote shouldn't be as important start to become a huge, bigger piece, and that's when trouble starts to brew. You know.
Yeah. Do you get into it at all, or do you have a faith?
Yeah, so my wife, she does a Bible study, and
Oh,
we,
nice.
yeah, we haven't been as good about attending church. Our pastor left not too long ago. We attended a church, and our pastor left. His wife got a job, or they're doing something in
Mhm.
Kansas City, so he unfortunately left, and so that kind of threw us for a little bit of a tailspin here because it can be difficult to find the right church.
You're right.
Um, so that sucks. So we're kind of in a little bit of a pinch. Um, but yeah, that's what we learned. That's what I learned when I was really actively going to church almost every Sunday with her. Um, and that's what the sermons were
Hmm.
relatively about, for the most part. And like you said, they took each Sunday. See, now we're off into a different
But
different
this
area.
is I don't know. This is something I could talk about for hundreds of hours. So
Yeah.
I'd love to talk about this. So
Um, we had like 6 or 8 week series, where each
yeah.
day of the series, each Sunday was a different, almost like a different area of struggle that we go through, whether it's financial, relationships, guilt, like anything, all of
Mhm.
it. And like you said, there would be a couple verses. He would relate it to himself. And then, the message would kind of come back to a whole as to what we can do and how we can relate it to, back to the Bible and Jesus and what they have done for us. So, full circle, and some of it was tough. I mean, when you really get into it, see, now you got me going. When you really
No,
get
this is good.
into it and put your all into it, there are some Sunday sermons that are just brutal. Brutal. I remember one time I was brought to tears, probably multiple times, but one time I can remember specifically. I don't remember what the sermon was about, but I was brought to tears because I was like, man, that just hit really hard, and I just felt it. So, yeah.
That's good. No, that's conviction, and it makes you want to change some things and repent. Um, or either it does that, or it'll push you away a little bit. But this it's about, like, you've probably heard where your roots are at, and
Right.
um maybe this is me challenging you to to put a little time into like 10 minutes into the word maybe every day. Um, and just find something, whether it's with your wife or by yourself, but that will help you dig your roots way down so that like when those sermons hit that are a little bit tough to hear, it'll blow you. It'll like if you're a tree, it'll blow you a little bit this way, but you're
Mm.
right back here because your roots are so dug deep down and and then it'll just help make you grow even higher.
Mhm.
So if it's 5 minutes a day and just one chapter of a book, but it'll open things up for you, and then it'll make you more grateful, and I don't know, it'll show you what he's done for us, and it makes so many things so good.
Well, what also I really took away from what you said earlier was that it doesn't matter what you're going through. You listed like anxiety, it could be financial, it could be relation, whatever it is. There's a passage or a story within the Bible somewhere that will be able to be related to what you're going through and reaffirm almost or just like take you back to what your focus should actually be on, and that can be difficult at times, especially in when we think it's like almost the end of the world, or we just think like, this is so tough. And
Yeah.
then you read a story or the sermon and you're like, okay, it's not as tough. I need to reprioritize, my feelings here.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
It's just I don't know, it's good. God's good. So
Yeah. And I think when it challenges you the most or when it hurts the most is when you are feeling that wow, like it's almost like you've been hit by a train, where you're like, whoa, I have been doing that. That is, it's like a wake up call, and I think that was one of those days where it was just a big wake up call, because it's so easy to just be content through life and just go through the motions at times. And then when something like that happens, like when you go on Sundays, and you get challenged like that, it's like,
yeah,
so anyway.
convictions, dude, they're really good. That they help you grow and get closer to God. Like we've all like I I pray for convictions. Like I want that feeling so that I can get closer and wipe out some of those sin patterns in my life that I don't even like it's like he brought that up and you didn't even think about it before. Like you don't even know that what you're doing is really wrong, but then you get that conviction and you're like, "Oh gosh. I really don't want that to be part of my life anymore."
It, did you just say you actually like the conviction a little bit? Because I mean that's just tough because like when conviction is kind of the what you're doing wrong, isn't it? Where it's like, ooh, most of us shy away from that because we don't want to hear that. We're like, nope, 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 nope. But you kind of welcome it. That's so interesting. That's just very interesting to me.
I just I want sin out of my life. So you pray for that knowledge of what you're doing, for the things that you're doing wrong. And I think that's at a point where I'm at, and it's taken years for like some things you continue to do for years, and then you're not really convicted about it, and then all of a sudden it's just you're convicted about it, and you're like, all right, I'm done doing that
Hmm.
because it's just the way that you feel, and it's the spirit inside of you. I don't know, it's crazy, and it's good, and it's always good. So
Yeah, and that can also be related to life in general, but like in wrestling, okay? Nobody really likes to watch those tough matches that they've lost, to see what they've done wrong because it hurts too much, or they just would rather forget about it and move on. But when you watch those and you look at those mistakes that you've made, that's how you become a better wrestler. And so to make it full circle here, that's how you become a better person is when you stare those convictions in the face, and say, I'm not going to do that anymore.
mhm.
So there's a correlation there that I think I just wanted to point out, a
Yeah.
little bit. But um, well, before I let you go here, I want to ask you, You know, does it ever get boring listening to Doug preach? I
Oh,
mean, I just feel like every time he opens his mouth, you're just like, what's he gonna say? Hold on, Doug speaking. Like everybody shut up.
you're so. I mean, it does not get boring. It's the opposite. Anytime he opens his mouth, you're like, I want to listen. Because he's gonna either say something that's out of pocket funny, but still really good, or really motivating, or something that you need to hear. He's a very good speaker, and he's very good at what he does. So
Gosh, yeah. I wonder where he gets some of this stuff. Like,
me too. I asked Randy. I'm like, Randy, has he always been able to articulate the things that he does? And Randy said he's always been able to speak really well, but it's definitely developed a lot over time.
mhm,
But because Randy's been here since Doug started.
right. Yeah. Yeah, and lessons and life and things have probably helped him,
Yeah.
find words to stay in motivation for certain times. Um, but yeah, I just didn't know if ever at one point you were like, okay, Doug, all right, Coach Schwab, we get it.
Ah, it's I wish I don't even know how it's possible to do it like he does, but I will listen if he speaks for 10 hours, I'll listen for every hour, for every minute of it. So, and I
Yeah.
think every guy feels the same. It's just he's very motivating, and it's some of it's due to the fact that he's right there in the trenches with us. So, I don't know. We trust him a lot.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Special thanks to my guest, Ryder Downey, for taking the time to sit down and chat with me. Cover art created and designed by Kristen Gill. Please feel free to rate, comment, and subscribe to the podcast. And you can also check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and my Facebook page to hear more of my content. And don't forget, you can check out my website at letstalkwrestlingpodcast.my.canva.site. And as always, be sure to tune in to hear the next guest of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. Take care. See you next time.